There's something especially unsettling about a disappearance where the person knew something was wrong. Not hours before, not days before, but in the exact moment they reached out for help. A phone call is supposed to be a lifeline. It's the moment where fear turns into action, where someone says something isn't right and expects that help is on the way. But in the cases you're about to see, that moment didn't lead to safety. It led to silence. In this video, we're counting down 5 real cases where people made a call for help to police, to loved ones, or to anyone who would listen, and then vanished without a trace. No clear answers, no confirmed outcomes, just fragments of conversations, strange timelines, and questions that still haven't been resolved. Each case is different locations, different circumstances, different lives, but they are all connected by one chilling detail. The last known moment we have is when they asked for help. Some of these calls were confusing, some were terrifying, and some seemed almost ordinary at first, until the person on the other end was never seen again. As we go through this list, pay attention to the details, the timing, the words used, the things that don't quite make sense. Because in cases like these, the smallest detail can change everything. Let's begin. Number 5, Ray Gricar. On the surface, Ray Gricar didn't seem like someone who would just disappear. He was the district attorney of Center County, Pennsylvania, a respected prosecutor with decades of experience. By April of 2005, he was approaching retirement, known for handling serious cases and making difficult decisions. His life was structured, predictable, and deeply rooted in his community. But on April 15th, 2005, something changed. That day, Ray left his home in Belafonte and drove off without telling anyone where he was going. There was no official meeting scheduled, no clear reason for the trip. As the hours passed and he didn't return, concern started to build. Then his car was found. It had been left in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, parked in a lot near the Susquehanna River. Inside, there were no obvious signs of a struggle, no indication that anything violent had happened at that location. It looked like he had simply parked and walked away. But what makes this case especially unsettling isn't just the disappearance, it's what happened to the one item that could have explained everything: Ray's laptop. Months after he vanished, investigators discovered that his laptop had been deliberately damaged and thrown into the Susquehanna River. The hard drive, the one place that could have held clues about his final movements, his thoughts, or even who he may have been communicating with, was missing entirely. And then there's another detail that's hard to ignore. Years earlier, Ray's own brother had disappeared in a similar way and was later found deceased. That connection has never been fully explained, but it adds an eerie layer to an already mysterious case. So where does the call for help come in? In the time leading up to his disappearance, Ray had made routine contact with people in his life, but then suddenly, nothing. No follow-up, no explanation, no final message that made sense. It wasn't a frantic 911 call, but it was a complete and abrupt break in communication from someone who wasn't known to just vanish. Investigators have explored multiple possibilities. Did he walk into the river? Was this a planned disappearance? Or was there something on that laptop? Something important, enough that someone made sure it would never be recovered. Nearly 2 decades later, no one knows. A seasoned prosecutor disappears in the middle of the day. His car is left behind. His laptop is destroyed. And whatever happened next has never been found. And that's what makes this case so chilling. Because sometimes the call for help isn't what's said out loud. Sometimes it's the silence that follows. Number 4, Brandon Lawson. Brandon Lawson's disappearance is one of the most chilling examples of someone calling for help and then vanishing without a trace. On August 9th, 2013, Brandon was driving home in Bronte, Texas, when he ran out of gas on the side of US Highway 277. Confused and scared, he called his brother Todd asking for assistance. He sounded disoriented, almost panicked, and insisted he didn't know exactly where he was. Minutes later, Brandon called 911. The dispatcher could hear him struggling, talking about someone following him, and then the line went dead. This would be the last confirmed contact anyone had with him. When authorities arrived at the area where Brandon's car was found abandoned, the vehicle was mostly intact. His personal items and wallet were still inside. The strange thing, there were no signs of a struggle in or near the car, and no evidence pointing to anyone else being present. His phone records showed multiple calls that night, but the locations pinged were confusing and inconsistent, making it hard to track his exact movements. Search teams combed the area for days, but Brandon was never found. Despite multiple theories, ranging from him getting lost in the rural terrain to foul play, nothing concrete has ever emerged. His disappearance remains a haunting mystery, with the 911 call being the final desperate plea for help. The silence after that call is what makes this case so unnerving. Brandon Lawson's story is a stark reminder that even a momentary cry for help can vanish into the unknown. Number 3, Angela Hammond. Angela Hammond's disappearance is another mysterious case, where a call for help was the last time anyone knew of her whereabouts. On February 17th, 1991, Angela, who was 24 at the time, was in her home in the United States when she made a frantic call to a friend, explaining that she felt threatened and needed assistance. She mentioned someone had been trying to contact her repeatedly in a way that scared her, and she was worried about her safety. That call ended abruptly, and Angela was never heard from again. Her car and belongings remained untouched at her residence, giving no immediate clues to her sudden disappearance. Investigators later discovered that she had recently confided in a few friends about being harassed by an unknown individual, but the information was vague and inconsistent. Despite extensive searches and interviews with people in her life, no trace of Angela has ever surfaced. The combination of a last-minute call for help and her total vanishing continues to baffle investigators. Angela Hammond's case highlights the unsettling reality that even when someone reaches out for assistance, the answers may never come. Number 2, Diane Augat. Diane Augat's disappearance is another haunting case, where a call for help became the final known moment of her life. On June 12th, 2005, Diane, a 28-year-old woman living in the United States, placed a desperate phone call to a friend, explaining that she felt unsafe and that someone was following her. She was anxious, speaking quickly, and mentioned her car had broken down while she was trying to get home. The call ended suddenly, and Diane was never heard from again. Her vehicle was later found abandoned on a rural road, with no signs of forced entry or a struggle, and Diane herself vanished without a trace. Authorities conducted extensive searches in the surrounding area, including nearby forests, highways, and towns, but no solid leads ever emerged. Investigators also reviewed phone records and surveillance footage, but nothing revealed who might have been involved or what had happened after her final call. Diane Augat's case remains unsolved, a chilling reminder of how quickly someone can disappear even after reaching out for help. And now, the case that claims number 1 on our list. Number 1, Jerry Castillo Jr. The final case on our top 5 list is the mysterious disappearance of Jerry Castillo Jr., a case that still baffles investigators today. In the early hours of August 4th, 2007, Jerry, a young man in his mid-20s, called a close friend in a distressed and urgent state, saying he needed help immediately. During the call, he mentioned being followed and possibly in danger, but gave no clear details about his location. Shortly after the call ended, Jerry vanished completely. His home and vehicle were found undisturbed, with no evidence pointing to where he might have gone or who might have been involved. Law enforcement conducted extensive searches in nearby urban areas, highways, and wooded regions, but found no trace of Jerry. Tips and leads over the years have come in from the public, but none have resulted in concrete answers. Jerry Castillo Jr.'s disappearance remains unsolved, leaving behind a haunting question. What happened to him after his desperate call for help? Now that we've gone through all 5 cases, it's clear just how chilling these disappearances are. Each person we covered, from Ray Gricar, Brandon Lawson, Angela Hammond, Diane Augat, to Jerry Castillo Jr., made a desperate call for help, yet vanished without a trace. What's especially unsettling is how quickly they disappeared after reaching out, leaving family, friends, and investigators with nothing but unanswered questions. Despite extensive searches, public appeals, and years of investigation, there has never been a confirmed resolution in any of these cases. These stories remind us of the fragility of safety and the unexplained dangers that sometimes lurk in everyday life. They are a stark illustration of how mysterious and unresolved disappearances can leave a lasting impact, not only on the families directly involved, but on anyone who hears their stories. While we may never know exactly what happened to these 5 individuals, their cases continue to be studied by authorities and followed by true crime enthusiasts around the world. If this video gave you chills, consider subscribing for more deep dives into unsolved mysteries and chilling true crime cases. And as always, let us know in the comments which case left you with the most questions. The top 5 people who called for help and then vanished without a trace remain haunting reminders that sometimes even reaching out for help doesn't guarantee safety.